Most agency owners never get rich. They only make enough money that they continue to run their agency only to break even or save just a bit of money. They never get to the point where their income exceeds their expenses so far that they have excess capital to invest and truly see the joys of compound interest. Now, I've been running agencies for over 10 years. I managed to sell a couple, and my last one, a B2B lead gen agency, did over $2 million in sales. And in this video, I'm gonna show you a few ways you can actually get rich running an agency. Here we are in my Miro board. Now, if you wanna get rich and buy a sports car and a Rolex, feel free. I've done that years ago, and it is fun, but I will say, if you really wanna get rich, you need to make money in your agency and put that in investments that then work for you. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into how do you actually get rich with an agency. Now, I've put together 5 things that we're gonna go over in depth that have helped me actually use my agency to build wealth. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Now, before you click away, some of these aren't that exciting. Because the thing is, if you only spend your time doing what's shiny and cool, you're never gonna really know what it takes to build true wealth. So if you hear some of these things and you think, I'm just gonna learn a new tactic to get clients, yeah, that can serve you, but these things here are going to actually help you get wealthy, so make sure to sit down and watch this video all the way through. So the first one talks about how we look at money and actually understanding our numbers. It's something that's not sexy, it's not cool, and a lot of people completely abuse understanding their finances. Now, to start, revenue means literally nothing. You are not a tech startup that's going to sell at a 10x valuation with no profit and still get rich. You need to understand your revenue versus your expenses to understand your net profit to make sure you are actually making money. I see so many agencies where they get hung up on having this huge revenue number. In reality, they're making like $5,000 a month even though they're doing $50K a month in revenue. At that point, you're better off just getting a job, working less, and having life be easier. So it's critical that you actually understand your numbers. Work with a good accountant, do your own accounting, whatever it takes. You need to know how much profit you make every month. You need to know what does it cost to acquire a customer, and you need to know what does it cost to fulfill. If you don't have these numbers, you can never make a strategic investment in your business and you will never actually be able to scale. Now, another thing, an agency is not going to be the business with the best margins in the world. Probably info is going to be. It's also not going to be a business that you can sell for millions of dollars. It's somewhere in the middle. And because of this, you need to be obsessed with your margins and find ways to improve them without compromising on your growth or your service. The difference between a 40 to 50% margin may not seem like a lot, but that is a lot of money year over year, especially considering the value of that excess money being compounded in something like an S&P 500 index fund. Now, this is not going to be an advanced financial management class. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a guy that's built agencies. So I'm gonna go over the 3 fastest and easiest ways to increase your margins. Now, the first one seems really silly, but it's actually quite incredible. And that is just charge 5 to 15% more. Now, there's something called price elasticity. And the concept essentially goes, if someone's gonna pay you $5,000, would they really haggle over $5,100? Now, probably not. Now, if something's $1 and you're asking for 2, that's a big increase. But if we're charging someone $3,000, could we charge them $3,300 or $3,500? And just charging a little bit more on your retainer, but multiplied across 5, 10, 15 clients is just going to increase your margin. Now, obviously we want to be ethical and serve our clients and make sure to get an ROI, but at the end of the day, if you're charging $3,000, charging $3,300, 10% more, or charging $3,450, you're probably not going to have any sales lost over that small percentage. Now, this second one probably seems silly to a lot of you guys just starting out because, payment processors, it's only 2.9% or 3% depending where you are. That really adds up. If you can get paid via bank transfer on a $10,000 payment, you have $300 more. Now, when you're doing 50, 100K a month, the amount of money you are paying to Stripe gets absurd. Trust me, when we did 100,000 in a month in December, that was our first 100K month, I looked at how much we pay Stripe and it was disgusting. So look at getting a payment processor of lower rates, or if you're in the US, take payments with bank transfer. Now the next one is quite silly, but actually monitor your subscriptions. Be real here. Have you had a $50 or $100 subscription that you just forgot about and let it sit for 6 months? Well, as you get a bigger and bigger company, you're going to be paying for more and more subscriptions, and your employees will probably be paying for subscriptions with minimal oversight for you. So it's really important you track this from the start, because that $50 a month can very easily creep into $500 a month, which is actually $6,000 a year, which is actually 60 grand over 10 years, and throw in the lost money you could have made putting that index funds, and it gets really damn expensive. Now I want to do a quick exercise here. Let's assume you do $300,000 a year in sales, and this is made up from 5 clients that pay you $5,000 a month. Let's say first you moved in a bank transfer, you now save $9,000 a year in Stripe fees. Insane. Second, you increase your retainer by 7.5%. You now have $22,500 more per year. And third, let's say you actually monitor your subscriptions, where you do annual plans when you can, you cancel unused subscriptions, and you apply discount codes by Googling discount codes. You do like Capital One shopping or something. Silly, right? But you can save $500 a month probably, and that's $6,000 a year. 3 little things now means you have an extra $37,500 a year without doing any actual additional work. Now, I want to share how I look at that money, because you may see this and be like, it's really not that much money. But here is how I look at it. This makes it really hurt. I go to a compound interest calculator. Let's plug in $37,500. Let's not contribute anything more. And let's say that you're 25 and you want to retire at 55. So 30 years, you're going to make 8% in S&P 500. You have now pissed away $377,000 by just being lazy. So when you look at it in terms of compound lifetime value from now to the point of retirement, it makes it a lot more painful. So whenever I look at my finances, I always look in that view. You know, I like watches and I probably have too many, but whenever I buy another Rolex, I'm always considering, do I want it so much to justify not just the cost, but the opportunity cost of the lost money that I would have made investing it? Now, often the answer is yes, because I'm investing enough anyway, but it is a healthy way to look at your finances. The second thing that's critical to understand if you want to get rich with an agency is understanding that input and time do not need to be directly related. You are not an employee here. You are a business owner, and it's your obligation to use leverage. So let's talk more about this. Let's say person A, they send 10 emails a day for 30 days. Person B sends 300 emails in 1 day. The net result is 300 emails. So there's 2 things we're talking about here. There's that volume and time do not need to be correlated, and then there's buying back your time to do more volume. So the first concept here is that if you are looking at things in a time frame, it is stupid. I set all my goals and all my KPIs by volume, not by time frame. I would rather do a ton fast than a little bit spread out, because I'm going to get the same answer quicker and learn and be able to revise and do better next time around. So in conclusion, you need to think in volume and you need to act fast. The person with the most revolutions around the feedback loop wins. Now, if you don't know what a feedback loop is, it's just you have an idea, you test it, you get feedback, you make changes, you go again. Now, when you're doing any type of marketing, you're going to go around this loop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of time over years, and you're just going to get better. But the person that goes around it faster gets better faster, and they make more money in terms of overall amount and also in terms of the rate which they make it. Now, the third one here I think is maybe the most important, so definitely stay all the way through this one. And that is to have a strong reason for prospects to want to work with you. Now, this can be quite a few things here, but I see so many people where they spin up an agency and there's really nothing special about them. Now, I totally understand if you're new and you just don't have insights, that it's hard to know what is unique or not unique or what is a strong reason to work with you. That's why you should work with someone who has experience to help you understand or just figure it out over a long time. I recommend the first. So let's talk about some examples of having something unique to offer. or having a unique way in which you offer your service in terms of how you get clients. So the first one could be unique outreach. Now, if you've watched any of my videos on cold email strategy, you'll know all my cold email campaigns, I'm looking for either a personal connection, maybe targeting people at the same university or in the same city, or if you have a passion, targeting companies related to that passion, or a logical connection. Maybe it's targeting companies that are hiring people that would otherwise do your service, or that are using an adjacent software, or that are already spending money on ads, whatever it may be, and building a relevant campaign around that. If you want more about this, it's on my channel. Or it's doing something different. When I first started, I handed out tons of flyers in person. I sent tons of really unique personalized letters of gifts to prospects. I did a bunch of things no one was doing because I knew if I wanted different results, I couldn't just follow the herds. Because so many people start an agency and what do? They do what everybody else does. You need to do something different, especially when you're starting if you want to cut through the noise. The next thing you could consider is a unique market. Now, there's so many people that go after the same markets, and occasionally I'll talk to somebody where they maybe don't have unique outreach or even not much of a unique offer, but they're going after a market that no one ever considers. For example, let's take lead gen agencies. I get talked to by tons of lead gen agencies. Who do you work with? Solar, maybe plumbers, kitchen and bathroom modelers. Yeah, I hear the same things over and over. I've never heard about a funeral home, or I've never heard about someone, let's say, that does paving. I'm just making some things up here because I haven't heard these because people don't go after them. You know, one of my clients has a really interesting business where he targets IT disposal companies. That is such a niche market where there's going to be so much less competition to get those people's attention because it's just not saturated. Now, the third one here is a unique offer. For example, let's say you sell to e-commerce businesses. How many people do just normal Klaviyo email marketing? It's not bad, but everybody does it. What if you offered direct mail to top spending clients? Or you offered email deliverability services for people on Klaviyo to help them go from the social tab or the promotions tab to the primary tab. There's so many unique offers you can do where you could target a saturated market, but you could just dominate by doing something your competitors don't, maybe because they just haven't thought of it, or it's a pain in the ass, or it's hard to fulfill, whatever it might be. And then the final thing, and this comes with time, is social proof. If you have overwhelming social proof, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Now, I went through the struggle of getting my first client when I was a teenager, and there was no logical reason for someone to work with me. But now, at this point, with my coaching program, Grow B2B, we have so much social proof that if somebody books a call with me and sees the results we get for students, it's just silly for them not to work with me. And same thing goes for my agency. We have reviews on Trustpilot, 35, all 5-star. Clutch reviews, we have 60 testimonial videos, Upwork, partners of SmartLead, Clay, Instantly. There's literally no reason someone wouldn't work with us if they're a company that we can help. But that obviously you can't do right away. So as time goes, you'll collect enough social proof that you don't need to be as creative, but especially during the start, you really do need to be. Now the next one ties into what we talked about earlier, speed and time. This one is going to be more about time since we have previously talked about speed. You need to aggressively buy your time back. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. The first one is mentorships or consultants. A mentor is someone generally that's done the same thing you want to do, whether that's in business, in fitness, in family, who understands a bigger picture and can save you months or sometimes years at a small fee to just skip all the wasted time and expenses. This is something that I did a lot during my journey. I found somebody that had what I wanted, especially if they've done it the same business model, and I paid them to help me cut through all the mistakes necessary. That is buying back your time. Second is consultants. I'm considering consultant more someone who helps a specific thing. Let's say that you're using HubSpot as your CRM and you can't figure out automations. Do you A, spend 5-10 hours figuring it out watching YouTube videos, or B, pay $200 for an hour on some expert on Upwork and just get it done? So I'm always looking at who can I pay as a consultant to fix specific problems so I don't waste my time troubleshooting, and then also who is in the position I want to get to where I can pay them to guide me, support me, and keep me accountable on my journey. So we've talked about buying time with a mentor or consultant. Let's talk about just finding extra time. Now, if you do this, I think you can find an extra hour per day, or 300, let's say 65, whatever, 365 hours per year. This is what I call a time audit. I got this from a guy named Matt Gallant, who's a brilliant entrepreneur that wrote a book called 20-Hour Workweek, a spinoff of the 4-Hour Workweek. Now, it's 6 steps. First thing you're going to do is list every single thing you do morning to night for 3 work days. I'm talking brushing your teeth, cooking, mowing the yard, hanging out with your girlfriend. List everything you do in 30-minute or 1-hour increments every single day. Next, I want you to figure out your hourly rate. What is the price that you would pay for more hours? And now, I don't want you to have ego here. Don't say, yeah, my time's worth $500 an hour. If you wouldn't pay $500 for another hour of your time, it is not worth that. So what is the rate in which you would actively buy more time? Figure that out. Now, the third thing is classify everything you did that could be outsourced by an hourly rate. Could you pay someone $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $100, $500, $1,000? What would it cost? Now, some things you just have to do yourself. You gotta brush your own teeth, but you do not need to clean your house. You don't need to build a lead list. These are things that do have an hourly rate to replace yourself, so do that. Now, we're gonna go through all the items here, and we're gonna go through and tag them with a 5-step process. The first thing is, can we just not do the thing? Delete. Let's say you spend 2 hours scrolling on your phone. We don't need to automate that. We don't need to delegate it. Just don't do it. Or if you do it, just realize there's a cost to it. So that's the first thing. What can we just not do anymore? The second is, what can we automate? We are in the age of AI. The things you can do with Clay, NAN, Zapier, Make, Parabola, etc. is incredible. If you don't know how to audit, go back up, hire a consultant, have them help you automate. What can you automate? Third is delegate. This is where we're looking at what could you delegate to somebody where it is worth it for you to pay them. At the very start of your business, you probably are going to be doing a lot of things yourself. But once you're making some money, at least I found the easiest things to cut were things like cooking, cleaning, or yard work. I didn't want to do it. It was cheap to get rid of. And then it came things like list building, appointment setting, and so on to now I pretty much just make content, think big picture, and also do sales, right? That is what is worth my time. Now, let's say you can't delegate it or can't delegate it yet. Next, can you put a system around it? Can you make it more efficient by having a template or a structure or like a daily time you do it? What system can you put behind it? And then fifth, if you have to do it yourself, go ahead and put it on your calendar. If you're not going to commit to a time to do it, it isn't that important and you can maybe just delete it. So that is 4. 5, take action. Actually do what you set out to do. If you do this and don't take action, it doesn't do anything. And then 6, repeat this every quarter. I have been doing this for years, and not only has it made me more money, it has made the quality of my life significantly higher. Now the final point here is one you really should have known was coming, and that is to retain clients forever. Look, I get it. It's way more cool to say, yeah, I got 20 clients this month, but the real money is made retaining clients. Part of the reason we've made so much money is for our coaching program, Grow B2B, our clients get incredible results. And for our agency DFI meetings, it is literally world-class service. So you need to retain clients. Now, why don't you see more YouTube content on retaining clients? It's because it doesn't get clicks. People want to talk about the cool, oh, I got a client. Getting clients that only stay 2-3 months is nothing but a headache. And also your margin is going to be lower on the first couple months along with your time investment. So you want to retain clients forever. Now, I had GPT do a little graph where you can see 5 new clients per month, 5,000 retention, 8 months versus 3 months. You can see how much more money someone's going to make with an 8-month retention. Now, you're never going to retain every client forever. People move things in-house. Results change due to platform changes. Some people you just can't help. That is normal, but you want to do your absolute best to give people the best service to keep them around as customers. Now, I just want to point this out really quick. You can see our top customers right here. I think it's like top around 10, 15. It's like $651,000. Imagine how much harder it would have been if every one of our clients was only worth $5,000. Like this top client was also paid via direct deposit. Actually, I think our top 3 clients have all paid us over $100,000 each which is crazy. Now, I actually have a whole video on my YouTube channel called How to Make 30K per Client. If you want to see our whole retention system, make sure to check out that. And there you have it. That is how you actually get rich with an agency, so you don't just keep going through the motions, breaking even, or making a little bit of money. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And you want to work with me one-on-one to grow your agency, build acquisition systems, build retention systems, and have guidance from someone that's done what you want to do, go ahead and check out Grow B2B down below, where you can book a one-on-one call with me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.